bring me New Edition. Bring me Jagged Edge, maybe. Like,
Right.
like, yo, I just F with Jagged Edge. Cool.
Right.
But do not bring me Thong Song and
Dong, 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 dong.
I just somebody sleeping in my bed. Like, are we serious with this? Are you serious?
People like really be like heavy, and I'd be like,
yeah. I got a partner who used to do that, and I used to look at him like, bruh, if you don't stop, please stop, because I want to be able to talk things with you.
Yeah.
And if you're saying that,
the
level of respect I lose for you because of that comment. Oh, these are monumental levels of respect. Like, I might not be able to talk anything else with you because you said that. I'm offended. Like, yo, Drew Hill. Like, bring me a group, bro, but don't bring me Drew Hill. Bring me Boys to Men. Just tell me, yo, I'm a soft dude. I like love, and that's what I'm on. But don't bring me Drew Hill is worse than every group I just named. Everyone.
And you know what's funny? I feel the same way. And when I do that, I get attacked by some people, right? And they be like, you're just being, that's why you come. And like, I really, really value the fact that I love music. And I feel like I know music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this even a thing?
Yeah. Shouldn't be. It's like, it's like who really thinks that candy is better than chicken? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's food. It's like, it's really food. Like, bruh, we all like a little candy, but I mean, it's chicken, right? Like,
it's chicken.
Yeah, you can fry it, bake it, boil, like whatever you want to do.
Well, fellas, it looks like we're ready to get rolling. But that was a little, we enjoyed the bonus music section. We might have to bring that back.
We're well versed on here. We're well versed out here.
Well versed. And long live Jodeci.
Long live Jodeci.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It is the commercial break is over. It's Two Fans with a Mic. I'm your boy DRAZE, joined by my guy Green. This is the podcast that started as a text thread. The energy was so hyped, we had to bring it to you. Better known as the People's Sports Show, because it is a show for the fans, by the fans, and to the fans. You know what I'm saying?
All that.
Yeah, all of the above. Every week we are here Monday evening after Monday Night Football, so that it's live and fresh, and we can talk about everything. So we will talk about the Jets and Buffalo, give you feedback on that, on the whole NFL season. Just a brief commercial break. Next week we will be doing our official NBA edition of Two Fans with a Mic. You will not want to miss that. We will have our own panel of NBA analysts joining us to talk hoops, making calls. We'll talk Luka. We'll talk Bron. We'll talk KD. We'll talk Jason Tatum. Can they repeat? And Steph Curry, whatever you want to talk, man. We're talking hoop next week. But this week we have a great show planned for you. As everybody knows, we're two Seattle guys, man. So we're gonna have to talk Hawks. You got to cater to the fans and give them what they want. We're going to talk Hawks after that brutal beatdown by the San Francisco 49ers, which Green and I called. So neither one of us were fooled. But after that brutal beatdown, we will give you some feedback on that, and maybe we'll form a nice little support group to help your emotions and get you through if you need it. But we're going to talk all things NFL. We'll talk a little bit about not just the Seahawks, but we're going to get into the Detroit versus Dallas football game. We'll get into a little bit of Caleb versus Jaden Daniels. Is there a war there, right? We got a lot to do, but first things first, let's give some feedback. Monday night, Josh Allen out-dueling the old man veteran of your guy, A-Rod.
My guy.
How are you feeling?
You know what? I kind of felt like I thought the Jets were going to pull it out, but tonight it just showed that Josh Allen's just clearly on another level. You know, Aaron Rodgers just isn't that same guy. But there was a lot of positives to take away from if you're a Jets fan. I think you finally got Breece Hall going, which is a huge step in the correct direction.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to go to where they want to get to without him being as productive as he was tonight. You were able to get Garrett Wilson going as well. They just kind of fell short to a team who's probably just flat out better than them. Josh Allen's one of those guys. We'll get into the quarterbacks here in a little bit, but he's just the guy who we see in this league. When you have one of those, they elevate the team. And he's just able to elevate his team in a way that Aaron Rodgers used to, and it appears that he no longer can. But I don't think all is lost. They had an opportunity to be ahead in their division, but I think, they took a step in the right direction tonight.
Okay, so as an A-Rod guy, so guys, years ago, we were talking, I'm a Tom Brady guy. He was an A-Rod guy.
Yes.
We had lots of arguments that we'll leave back there. But today,
right,
as an A-Rod guy, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is A-Rod today better than Joe Flacco?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes.
How? I don't know.
He is.
How?
Joe Flacco, who's balling? That was a great question, because it's not as it's not as easy as you would think. But Joe Flacco this past week didn't set the world on fire. He was stagnant a lot of the time. I think what's holding Aaron Rodgers back is Aaron Rodgers. I think he wants to control everything. He wants his hands on everything. And I think if he relinquishes a little bit of that and he allows people to call a game and put him in better what's the word I'm looking for? In better situations, okay, I think he would flourish more. He's probably in his mind still thinking he's the same guy back in Wisconsin. That's not who he is anymore. Joe Flacco knows what he isn't, what he ain't. So they dial it up and he just goes out there and exexecutes. But I mean, if all things were the same, Aaron Rodgers is still clearly better than Joe Flacco.
I'm not asking if all things are the same. You know what I want? I just want you to think about it more. I don't want you to give me the answer so fast. I said, is Aaron Rodgers better than Joe Flacco? Yes. No, I want you to think 3 more seconds.
I know Aaron Rodgers is he still throws a great ball. He's better than Joe Flacco.
I don't know that. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is better than Joe Flacco. I want him to be, but I'm like,
right.
You know what? Joe's balling right now.
He is.
And I haven't seen A-Rod ball. I'm like, A-Rod got really good weapons. Especially right now. He's got a lot of weapons, and I'm not seeing it. Everything's off, and it's been off. And I can make a ton of it. He throws a good ball. Joe throws a good ball too, man.
Yeah,
they both got rocket arms, And so it's a good question. I thought of it on the spot. I'm like, let me see if I can't get my guy to fumble for a minute, man, because I don't have the answer to it. But I might go Joe, man. Smoking Joe, man. What's your thoughts on the NFL right now? Week 6, we're 6 weeks in. Anything, man, wherever you go when you're thinking NFL, what's your thoughts right now?
I think the league has turned on its head. I think things that were true 2 weeks ago are no longer true. I think that the one thing that is still constant and still true is that this thing's wide open, man. And you're starting to see teams get healthy. You see it with Jordan Love and the Packers. You see it with the Eagles. You see it with the Niners. And it's a good thing for the NFC. The AFC's crazy, man. The AFC's crazy. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it's just an exciting league because every single Sunday / Monday, Thursday matters, and everybody's trying to get home field throughout. And I think that's going to really bode well for whoever can attain it. But there's not much to pull from week 6 to me outside of the devastating situation that happened in Dallas that we'll talk about. But everything else was just business as usual, man. It's hard out here in the NFL.
I love the phrasing you said that I just can't quite seem to put my finger on it. Because if I had to think of what the NFL has been this year, I can't put my finger on it.
Right.
Things are, it's this. Try being a Seahawks fan 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago? Matter of fact, 2.5, because we had 3 games in 11 days. So
Right.
2.5 weeks ago, we were riding high.
Way up there.
And we're like, so we might get a top 10 draft pick? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things are, the NFL is a cruel mistress from the games on Sunday all the way down to fantasy football. And I got to add this in. I lost my game last night on the last drive of the game. I was playing your guy Kev. And the last I was up. I was up by 2 points.
Yeah.
And I knew if he gets a couple carries, I'm cooked. I can't win the tie. So if he ties, I'm done. And
right.
I sat here. I said, and I think it was Moss was his running back. Right? On the play that he gets to pass me, he fumbles the ball.
Oh.
Yeah. Imagine being at my house. Okay. If you think what you did was a reaction, okay? He fumbles. I'm up 2. He's got to run. So this run is going to put him at a tie game. He got like a 12-yard run or something. He fumbles the ball. I go, ah! all I need is one of the guy falls on it. And you know how somehow they can never hold the ball. He falls on it, the ball pops out under his arm. It bounces. Another guy's close. It goes out of bounds. And my entire everything sunk. It was it. It was all I could do to just be like, so when I say the NFL is a cruel mistress, I mean all the way down to fantasy football, okay?
Yes, it is.
Those are the hardest ways to lose, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'd rather just know early in the day, I'm out. I got hammered. I'm good. Just, so.
One thing I will say, if you're a fan of any team of the NFL, almost every team is still in it for their division, which is surprising, right? Maybe the AFC West, the Chiefs are just kind of running away with it, and then also with the Vikings up north. But every other division, because you said the Seahawks have lost 3 straight, and it was a big loss to the Niners. I don't want to, sugarcoat that, but you're still right in the thick of it. The Cardinals are losing, the Rams can't win a game. Everybody
we're tied for first place.
Yeah, and so as crazy as things are getting, and there's ebbs and flows throughout the season, a lot of teams still have a lot of hope. And that's all you ask for. Even the Jets, you know what I'm saying? Like, they blew an opportunity today, but, there's still a lot of football left. So
if you're the Rams, who are like 1-4 or 1-5, you're looking at it and going, Seattle's 3-3. They're 2 games away, and we got 2 coming.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Cooper Kupp might play this week.
Right.
Oh, I mean, Kyron's still good.
Yeah.
Oh, did I mention Puka's coming back?
Yeah.
We got action. If
Let's
you're
play
them,
ball.
Hey, we're 2 games away, man.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. 2 games with
For
a lot of. Let's play the games and see what happens, right? So, to your point, I think that's one of the great things, and I don't think Minnesota runs away with the division. There's a fight coming.
It's a fight coming.
It's not. Ain't nobody rolling over. And I was really pleased to see you mention them, so I wanted to bring them up. I was pleased to see Green Bay win. The reason why is they hadn't won with Jordan Love. People don't know that. It's like their wins were with Malik, but it's like they hadn't won with you yet. So we're all sitting there going, hey, man, I was sitting there. I'm watching on the side like, you look good with them, but you're not winning. So you better win.
Yeah.
Because this was the week you were going to get the, hey, man, they're 0-3 with Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying? So they looked good with him, and they got the W, not just looked good with him. So, so let's talk your guy, Caleb Williams, 4 touchdowns this week. Yeah. He looked like the number 1 pick for the first time. He looked like a guy who was starting to figure it out, playing well from the pocket. I found myself, this topic comes out of an argument I had at a sports bar this weekend with let's say about 6 guys where we're talking Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Now, I'm in LA, Green's in Seattle, so I'm at a sports bar in LA, and I had nothing dawned on me.
USC.
The reason all these guys were Caleb,
Yeah.
I mean, was this guy's from SC, and it dawned on me, these guys are not being honest or partial. They're just, they're just talking. But it led me to a question of Caleb, Jaden. Is this race close? Is there a chance it could be close? Is the rookie of the year wrapped up? I want to get your thoughts on. And is it too early to ask for Caleb versus Jaden Daniels to be a thing like Brady and Manning, especially when we have these guys playing each other in 2 weeks? So what's your thoughts on that?
I think absolutely it's go time for the debate. I mean, these two will live together in the world of football, in the world of the NFL for the rest of their careers. It will be like what we were supposed to have with Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, but see what happened with Ryan Leaf. So insert Tom Brady, so we will have these debates, and I think it's a healthy debate. Both teams are both 4-2. Now, Jaden Daniels has been a lot louder. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been a lot louder. And when you watch him play, it's been less flaws in it. But totality of everything that you put together, the amount of improvement you see week to week with Caleb is nothing to poo-poo. He threw 2 balls this past weekend that are not normal throws. Like, you see the ability that this kid has, plus the way he scrambled. It's like, bring on the debate. But for me, if you're asking me who do I think is better right now, I think I've been more impressed with Jaden. I can't say enough. I gave you the floor last week and you said everything perfectly. His calmness, the way he's elevated a team that nobody expected to be good. Those are the type of things that I look for. But I also give a lot of respect to somebody who meets expectation. The expectation was that, hey, you're inheriting a good team, bro. And so the fact that he's living up to it and it didn't start out smooth and he's smoothing it out. You've seen DJ Moore's tune change. A lot goes into that. So I think it's a great, healthy, fair debate. And I'd give the small edge to Jaden right now.
I give the edge to Jaden. And I know I'm a Washington guy, so feel free to call that out whenever you like in the future. But in the spirit of not being biased, and I said this at the argument I was having, Jaden's just playing better right now. It doesn't mean he's going to be better. Right. It just is what it is. Caleb has won some games where he played completely poorly.
Right.
I mean, poorly. Yeah. And the defense stepped up and they got a team win. But we were not walking out of those games going, woo, that Caleb, right? I don't think there has been a game where it wasn't Jaden. Mm-hmm. Like, if they're going to win, it's going to be Jaden. He's going to be a big part of it. Yeah. I haven't blamed him yet for a loss or, he's just, I don't know what it is, man. I haven't seen a quarterback this built for the moment in this way. There's something special about this guy. Even more special than CJ Stroud, and that's very hard for me to say. When I say the special, because Stroud is special, but this guy has something that's like, yo, you're built for this in a way I have never seen. Yeah. And again, he doesn't have the weapons. To me, the way he is elevating this entire team is out of this world. Caleb has lights out better weapons than him to me, and it's not close. Yeah. Like, to me, if I place Jaden Daniels in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking NFC Championship. Like, that's the type of, because of the weapons. He's great, but those weapons with that running game, they have a lot of running backs too. They're not like a team. They got it all. And a good defense. I mean, mind you, like, the defense that carried them. So I just, I'd like to parse this though a little bit and go, what do you think one does better than the other? Is there something you look at Caleb and you go, I like this, but he does this better than Jaden? And what do you look at Jaden and say vice versa?
Great question. So obviously, the things that I think Jaden does better is I think obviously he's a better runner of the football. He's so much more dynamic with his legs. He could literally win a game scrambling, like similar to Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
I also think he stays within the script of the play better. He assesses. I think the defense is a little bit better. He doesn't try to go for the home run. You could trust him to take what the defense is giving him. And so I think that's what's made him so dangerous, is that he's not trying to knock your lights out. He's just going to take what you give him, and he's going to consistently do that, right? On Caleb's end, I think he's a superior passer of the football. Like I said, he made passes this week that I was like, he literally walked over and handed the guy the ball. It was an amazing throw he made to Keenan Allen for the little 5-yard fade, which was like a 20-yard throw, and it was right on the money. His ability to throw the football is extremely rare. So I would say that's what differentiates the two. And I think Jaden is a better passer than you think, and I think Caleb's a better scrambler than you think, but that's how I will go.
This is not me being biased, okay? This is me analyzing. I can't find much Caleb does better than him.
Okay.
When I parse things, I'm trying. If you want to say throwing the ball out of different angles, okay. I don't know that that's a thing much for me, but it's true. He throws the ball at different angles, though I'm giving him a lot of that from college, because in the pros it hasn't showed up much. And it hasn't showed up in a good way. Some of his off-angle throws have actually been bad this year. So it's not, I can give it to him because I know it, but not because I've seen it be successful. I saw it successful in preseason.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it successful. It's hard for me. I don't know that he's a better thrower of the football, but when you say it, what it makes me say is I'm going to look out for that now.
Yeah.
I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like I'm going, oh, really? I didn't know that. I view them as throwers of the football as equal. Right. I just look and go, man, these guys can both throw the football on elite levels, you know. I don't view him as, this will probably shock you, I don't even think he's better at extending plays than Jaden. I think they do it differently, and it looks different. Like his looks frantic, and it's exciting and sexy. Like, you know what I mean? Like when Pat does it, it just looks, Pat's frailing and arms, and then he throws off balance. And you know what I mean? Now Pat makes all the plays, but I'm saying Caleb's does that, and I'm like, I don't care if it looks sexy or one does it and it looks wild, the other one looks smooth. But at the end of the day, is he successful? They're both just really successful. Yeah. There's not much I can see that he does better than Jaden. I'm looking forward to seeing it as it goes forward. Whereas with Jaden, I think he's a better runner of the football. I think they're equal scramblers. I think they equally throw the ball well. I think Jaden is just more poised and makes better decisions. Thus far, I've seen him making better decisions. And hopefully, I think some of that, this is a pure judgment. I don't know it for a fact. When I look at Caleb, my judgment of him is he's just being humbled. And as he's being humbled, it's making him a better quarterback. His humility is like, dude, I think he wanted to come do all those off-balance throws. And in preseason, when it worked, there was a preseason game where he was about to get sacked, and he threw a ball over a guy's head, dumped it off to the running back, and he ran for a touchdown. And all of that and all of the analysts telling you you're the next Patrick Mahomes and all that, it just makes you want to play like that. And when he was at USC, it was so much off-kilter football. It was so much outside the playbook that he's learning to play within the playbook. And his elite skill set. Now, again, I did say they are equal at a lot of stuff. So their elite skill set, he could be really great. If he learns how to play within the system, The other stuff is going to come. It's football, man. Some D tackle's going to beat his man, and then you're going to get to show him how sexy you can do what you do. You know what I mean? A D end's going to come off the end, and you're going to get to turn into Josh Allen. But to me, I've seen just way too much drop back and run. Drop back, and as soon as he goes through 2 progressions, I'm out. You know what I mean? And so it looks like Jaden Daniels is going through all 4 progressions. It just looks like, okay, I'm looking. But to Jaden's credit, Jaden has a better line than him. And so the line in Chicago just hasn't been very good. So to Caleb, some of that running could be, yo, my line is trash, fam. I got to take off. You know what I'm saying? And that changes things. But maybe this is me being biased, but
no, I mean, I think you brought up a lot of fair points. I mean, also we have to say one has Cliff and one has the guy, right? And so he's working with that. But I would give you this. Jaden, I think, is a better deep ball passer for sure. I think throwing the ball deep is really good. Jaden's really accurate as well. I just think over the next few weeks, as we're seeing Caleb settle in, because you are right, there has been games where they won without much help from Caleb. But this past game, I saw a lot. Like he made throws to where I was just like, yo, that's just not normal. So I think we could revisit this in a little bit and just challenge who's a better passer of the football. Jaden might very well still be the better player, right? But watch the intermediate passing, the short passing, the deep passing, and all that. And then we can revisit it over the next few weeks because I think Caleb's finally getting settled. Everything you said about him wanting to play off script and learning how to play on time is accurate. That was a knock on him and why Washington would have took Jaden with the first pick if they had it. Let them tell it. And so a lot of that has played out. But I think there's a lot to be said about a guy who's figured it out in a month and a half in the NFL and doing what's necessary to now get buy-in from a disgruntled wide receiver like DJ Moore. That goes to show how gifted this kid is. He's learning on the fly. And so I give him a lot of credit as far as that. But with all that being said, I would still say Jaden is the better product right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. I won't say he's figured it out. I say he had a good game. String a few together and I'll start to say it. But a lot of room for both of them. I'm looking forward to the head-to-head. Speaking of head-to-head, this week, the Dallas Cowboys went against the Detroit Lions in what was probably the most lopsided game we've seen in a long time, a complete shellacking of the Cowgirls. It was ugly. It was everything that any of us who look at the Cowboys and think this team is not very good on paper, which I think, yeah, this is what you get when it's like, yo, you got one wide receiver on offense and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know, what did you think of the game? The lopsidedness, and then I will get to the Aiden Hutchinson. But what did you think of the game? We'll be back there first.
I mean, it was a waste of time. I was really disgusted. Like, in its essence, we love sports for its competition, right? We want to tune in because we want to see a great game. We want to see a competitive game. And we just didn't get any of that with that game. And we thought we should have. And maybe it's a shame on us because the Cowboys haven't given us any reason to believe that they're any good. They beat a really good Steelers team. So we were hoping that maybe we would get a good matchup. But there wasn't much to take away from that beating, man. It was just a yawn fest. And it was just really, really disappointing to see. And so I didn't take much away from it outside of the Hutch thing, which we'll talk about. But as far as the game, you just saw a team who's really trying to win a Super Bowl and a team who's just, they don't know which way's up.
So let's say this. Aiden Hutchinson gets hurt. It's about as massive as it can get for a team that was ailing on defense. Their second best defender, who's a linebacker, is already out for the season. So they just lost Aiden Hutchinson for the season. What's your outlook on the Cowboys And what's your outlook on Detroit, considering they've now lost Aiden Hutchinson?
The outlook on the Cowboys is I still think they could be a playoff team.
Okay.
They've shown the ability to be able to reach a level that can win regular season games and get into the playoffs, right? The bad part is they can't consistently play that way. They have really great top end talent. To be fair to them, they were without Lawrence and Parsons, but the whole NFL is without key pieces,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
so,
No excuses.
yeah, and so, but I say that to say they'll get those pieces back, and when those pieces come back, they're impact players. And so I think there'll be a team who will be, if they happen to make the playoffs, it'll be a short-lived run, and that'll be it. They're not built correctly. They can't run the football. They have one receiver, as you said. That doesn't work, right? As far as the Lions, I can't express how devastating this is. That Hutchinson kid is one of the rising stars of this entire league, and he means so much to them defensively because of the way he plays the game, his approach, his toughness, his consistency, his impact. And so he's not going to be easily replaced. To win a Super Bowl, you need both sides of it. And so I'm not going to write them off, but their journey to the Super Bowl has gotten way, way tougher. It'll be interesting to see if they make a move because you don't get these opportunities very often, and you can't just think that we'll be fine. That's a big, big blow. They'll still make the playoffs. They'll still be a problem and a tough out just because they're just a great football team. But when you're trying to hoist, you need all hands on deck, and that was about as bad of a loss as they could have got.
So you remember last week when I was talking about what the Detroit Lions should do?
Yeah.
And I said they should go get Devontae Adams, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the time. The idea was they need to push their chips in because there comes a point to me when most teams, a lot of teams who are not, there's like this natural built way. And then there's sometimes the natural built way, like you get a Patrick Mahomes or something. That's just, it is what it is. Then there's that other thing that happens, right? That other thing represents the Rams when they got there. You see them make a move like Odell Beckham. That's we're pushing our chips in, right? There are other teams in the past. You see the Ravens doing it now with Derrick Henry. We're pushing our chips in. You have to make the other move that gets, dare I say it, beyond coaching. It gets beyond players. It gets beyond mistakes and all of that. If you want to go to that next level, you got to push your chips in. And so I said that last week, they should go Devontae Adams. Well, in comes this Aiden Hutchinson injury. Okay, Devontae's not the move, right? We got to fix the defense now, right? Mm-hmm. But it's still, you got to push your chips in. They have to go get a DN. Yeah. It's a non-question. Max Crosby, you have to, at this point, be willing to pay with it away. Yo, we want a second rounder. Give up the second rounder. Mm-hmm. It's now time. It's not next year. Someone else could get hurt. You just got to try it right now. And then next year you'd have Aiden and Crosby. So don't worry about the second rounder, right? Or whatever it is. You have to, Myles Garrett, whatever is out there, you need to be on the phone and paying whatever you have to pay. I know there's a price that you won't pay, but they got to make a move. Because if not, there's no Super Bowl this year. I know you're not going to write them off. Neither am I. But let me tell you right now, I'm taking the cap off my pen, man. And that means I'm getting ready to start writing. There is no excuses, ladies and gentlemen. It's you guys want to Super Bowls are not easy, man. They're not giving them things away. I was at that bar this week. I got Detroit fans at the bar, bro. I refuse to shake their hands.
Right.
They're really, there's a whole table of them like, bro, I don't shake the hands of guys with no rings.
Right.
I won't shake your hand. They don't give these away. Show me. Don't tell me who you are. This Johnny come lately. You guys are good now. We got a new coach and a new attitude. Nah. Get a ring. You want a ring? Sean McVay gets it, man. He sold everything for one ring. And you know what that did? That made him a made man. You ever seen one of those Italian guys who is now a made man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the godfathers. Sean McVay walks around the NFL like, you got one of these? Huh? What about you, huh?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sell it all to get one, man. People ask me all the time as a Seahawks fan what I would do, what I would da-da-da-da-da. Listen, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
I've been asked if you could go back and like maybe not remember that trade you made for Percy Harvin, and would you go back? I wouldn't do anything different.
We won
with that first ring.
Yeah.
We can't talk about the second one. It's blasphemy to discuss. But with the first ring, I touch nothing. Yeah. I don't touch beast mode, don't touch Sherm, nothing.
It works.
I got one. Mm-hmm. So that's my thing. So moving forward, let's talk Hawks. We're at that point in the show. Seahawks start the season 3-0.
Yep.
And things are going good. We're riding high.
Yeah.
And then something happens, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about San Francisco 49ers. Big blowout win for them. They were really dominant in that game, but the Seahawks were still in it all the way down to the fourth quarter. Yeah. Who do you blame? Who gets the most blame? Is it the coach? Is it the O coordinator? Is it the O-line? Is it the defense? Is it DK? Is it some compilation of shared blame? Because I feel like I'm a record on repeat. There was a lot of blame to go around. I said this last week. But what I am really interested to hear your take on, what's your blame with the Seahawks this week and why?
Feel you on, there's a lot to go around. And the fact that there's a lot to go around, I'm a focus on the head of the snake, and that's the head coach, right? There has just been too many times where, in my opinion, the Seahawks are doing things that hurt themselves. Like, obviously, there's going to be big plays, but it might not be the best idea to have the big play come at a time where you don't need an 80-yard run when you need a stop, right? When you have undisciplined football being played out on the field, you have penalties. You have what are we doing to communicate to the team that, hey, listen, we've got to get our shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing to assure ourselves that we're not going to leave a gap for a field goal to be blocked and for it to run back for a touchdown? There's just been things that's been happening week after week that has me questioning how ready a guy who I think was the right hire, how ready he is for this assignment, right? And so I would definitely start with him just because there's so many holes in the boat, right? It would be unfair for me to point at one particular player because there's so many that I would have to name.
That's wild. I never thought of it like that in terms of like, yeah, there are people I could blame, but the fact that there's so many kind of goes, now that points at you. Like, there can't be any boat with this many holes at this point. It's like, yo, what are you doing to patch all these holes up, fam?
Right.
Because he's not ready, and he's not ready, and these guys not. And it's your job to get all of them ready.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what? I could blame them. I could blame you. I could blame you. Because you told me. I blame you for my heartache. I blame them for everything. You told me this isn't when they start scheming them up, and I want you to watch how he's gonna have these guys looking. You told me what these D tackles were gonna do. You told me what Draymond Jones was gonna do, and you told me. I said to you, these linebackers, man, I don't know. There's a reason when you're getting them off the scrap heap, they're on the scrap heap for a reason. I said that. You said, I just think he's grabbing the guys that fit his scheme. I said, okay.
Right.
Okay. These are the guys for a scheme. I don't believe this, especially when I heard what John said in the offseason. Man, the linebackers just went quicker than we know. That is not good. That is not good speech for a GM, and I blame John for that.
Right.
You should have been ready. I don't care if Mike's wet behind the ears. In the offseason, John, you're the guy who's supposed to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My God, this defense looks atrocious.
It's awful.
It's awful. It's awful. And I said it. I feel good that part. A few weeks ago, I said it. You were still in denial. That's okay.
Yeah, I was
going, man. I said this at 3-0. I said, we still haven't played that Patriots game. I said it. I was like, man, we couldn't stop their run, bro. That was weird. I'm not sure. I said coming into the season, down the middle, running the ball is what I'm worried about. Why? Because it was our problem last year. And I understand that these are the same players.
Yeah.
That's still Leonard Williams. That's still Jaron Reed.
Yeah.
So all I'm being offered is, but this guy's going to get him playing better. I'm like, so he's going to make him grow more muscles, or he's going to teach him how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, all right. I say, all right. So this guy's going to be the guy to do it. You know what I mean? And then today we go and we sign a D tackle in a trade from the Jags. And I'm just going, this just feels like we're digging in the dumpster, bro. We're digging in the dumpster. Like, Jags. Like, I'm still like, we're digging in the dumpster trying to find, it's a 6th rounder. I'd rather just, and that's it. What lack of faith? What does that say about our D tackles? That's saying when we go get a D tackle at this moment, considering what we know, it is telling you that what you need isn't in the building.
Yeah.
And that's bad. And you know why that's bad? Do you know how much money we have tied up in this D-line?
Yeah.
That D-line is we are supposed to have one of the best D-lines in football. You cannot argue that with me.
But people are hurt, though. So they're not available.
Listen, I hear you, but the last couple of games, Leonard Williams, the highest paid player on our defense, is out there.
No, he is.
Reed, Hankins, all those guys are there. We're missing one guy on the D tackles. One guy.
Yeah.
And that's a rookie.
But he's a guy.
I know, but if he's the savior, we got problems, man.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Is he the savior? Okay. All right. But he is a guy. You're right. I can't poo-poo that. There's a reason we wouldn't. He's the first defensive player taken in the draft. That says a lot. But I'm just, the linebackers played poor.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, I do blame. I'm not like the Seahawks fans. I know you can't stand the fanatics who I am not calling for Mike's job. None of that. I am laughing, though, at how the honeymoon is ending, though. I mean, Seahawks fans are going, hey, man. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Mike is learning the other side. It's been a love fest for so long.
Yeah.
And at some point, but I'll go through it as quickly as I can. DK Metcalf, I blame big time. Drop balls. My big issue with DK at this point is every game it's something. I don't have a problem with, and we're not dealing with what we used to deal with. He's not the meathead pushing somebody into the ground, getting a penalty for that. No, it's just a drop pass. It's you're wide open. It's make the play, dude. Like this is what we pay you for. Make the play. Yeah. So that's bothersome to me. Geno had his worst game of the year.
He was bad.
Geno was trash. Geno looked like the Geno from last year. And I said to you, this guy doesn't have it.
Right.
He played like that last year for some games in a row, and I'm going, dude, this guy? No. And then he turned into a pumpkin, and something happened, and he started balling at the end of the year. So I give Geno a pass. It's one game. He's still Geno. He's not a top 5 quarterback. So what do you expect?
Right.
The offensive line was atrocious.
That's my biggest.
Bosa had his way with us. But Grubs. Okay, that's where I'd like to get, and then I'll be done. I know this has been a long one, but it's the heart.
Stuff, brother. You good?
It's my heart, man. What do you want me to do? I love her, man.
Get it out. Get it out.
Grubs. I had an issue with Grubs. And my issue is, this will sound really weird because the Seahawks fans were on Grubs the week before for not running the ball. Mm-hmm. I do believe we should have run the ball more. Kenneth Walker getting 5 carries is a problem. But I was afraid of this. Grubs this week looked like an amateur. And what I mean by amateur is you went one direction and then the pendulum swung all the way in the other direction. So you're no longer calling the game. You're letting the fans get in your head and call it for you. You got to live and die making the decisions that you think are best. Don't do it for the fans. Don't try to appease them, because when it doesn't work, you're only going to be pissed at yourself that you didn't do what you thought you should have did. Yeah. I love Kenneth Walker. He is one of the best players on our offense. I believe our pass opens our run and not the other way around. The strength of this team is our passing game. We do need to run the ball. We need to stay consistent, but we have to pass the ball. And it's not 50-50, 60-40, and it's past 60. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Your weapons are DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Tyler Lockett with Noah Fant. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that is the strength of this team. It is what it is. And so I think last week he just fell prey to like running and trying to run it. And if it's not there, and San Francisco knew, oh yeah, they've been being hammered by the fans. They're going to come out running. Let's sell out, stop Kenneth Walker. They couldn't really stop the pass. I mean, DK had one touchdown. He didn't get the foot down, but the other one he got called back, right? Like, he got open. He's bold. He's doing what he needs to do. But that's it. That's my there's a lot though. The O-line was trash. You know what I'm saying? But Grubs,
there's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot, man. I don't know. Leonard Williams had a statement though this past week where he said something to the effect of he's tired of seeing players quitting in the middle of the game. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I respect that statement. Somebody has to step up and say and do something. I've always felt that one of the biggest things missing from the Seahawks over the past several seasons that there's not an alpha leader in the locker room, right? During our golden years, they were all over the place. You know, Beast Mode and Cam and Bobby and it was just a bunch of guys who talked it and walked it. And I think the Seahawks need that right now. This is unacceptable. And he's playing on the side of the football that's getting creamed. And so he's the best player on there. I mean, him or Spoon. And so somebody's got to be something. Spoon's young. You're the vet who's making all this money, like you just said, homie. And something has to be done. And I think somebody has to show the way. One thing that really just bothers me about so many things bother me about DK, but he has to understand his body language and his temperament is very, very important, right? And so when things go left, he tends to, I don't want to assume, but it's not good. And so we just need better leadership on the sidelines and the huddles. And so I appreciate Leonard stepping up and saying something, but he needs to step up and do something too.
Yeah.
So,
I love the comment. It's shocking to me. This is a Pete Carroll thing to me, where this is why Pete kept Bobby Wagner around. These are things people don't understand, why he did certain things that he did, because Pete understood why Diggs needed to be there, why Bobby Wagner needed to be there. He understood there were certain guys. Now, this guy's here for leadership, and this team lacks leadership. I didn't even think about it till Leonard said it, and I'm looking around, I'm going, oh, who can check somebody?
Yeah.
Right? And checking is not about mano y mano, man versus man. It's about, can I say something and you receive it because you respect me?
Right.
Right? And so Yeah, it's a big deal. And one other thing, and you just highlighted it, but it is a big deal for these Seahawks. This is a DK Metcalf issue. This screams. This is your time, DK. The problem is not. At no time have we ever needed DK to be a leader.
Right.
But now we actually need him to be one.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is, DK, you have to be one or you drag us down. You can't not be a leader. Right. Your leadership is as important as your gameplay. And you're so focused on your play, you're forgetting we need you to keep the momentum and the mentality and the morale of the guys up throughout the game. So it's a separate DK issue that for me has never raised itself in the way it's raising itself now. It never mattered before, right? Because Bobby Wagner was in the locker room. There were other guys there who could just keep everything good. Let him throw a tantrum in the corner. It don't matter. But them guys are gone. There's no one here. So when we're on offense, and Tyler Lockett's just, you know what I mean? Man, he's Tyler, right? Yeah. That guy wants to sell some real estate, man, and get out of here. But DK Metcalf we need you. Yeah. We need you. Kenneth Walker can't do it. Charbonnet can't do it. Noah can't do it. They need you to be great mentally. And he's failing the tests week in and week out. And it's whack because I'm a DK guy. But he's making it harder and harder for me to fight against the onslaught of people that I know who are like, we should be. Every time he does something, people hit me now like, that's your guy. I'll be like, well, do you want to get rid of him? They'd be like, no. I'm like, well, then don't call me. If you don't, because you're saying the same thing I'm saying. I'm like, I want him to stay. What do you want? Like, I just want him to be better. So do I. You think I want him to do something dumb? You know what I'm saying? But if you're not saying leave, then you're not saying anything different than what I'm saying. Right. So my last, I got two more questions. Are the Seahawks problems fixable? We're talking about all these issues that they have. We're 6 weeks into the season, 3-3, tied for first place, even though that puts us in second. Are the problems fixable in your opinion?
If you were to ask me all of them, I'd say hell no. Yeah. If you said most, I would say yeah. Because I think
are they fixable enough to get us into the playoffs?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I believe that so. I still believe in Coach. You know what I'm saying? I think things got good to him and this team. Because at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play, right? But I think these guys are proud, and I think there's talent, right? And so they've just got to be cleaner. They've got to no telling what happens if DK doesn't fumble both games. No telling what happens if we don't let that guy sprint up the middle and block the field goal. No telling what happens if we don't give 80-yard rush on first down to the backup right? Yeah. So, these things can be corrected. It's just who wants it more, man? You know what I'm saying? And so these guys are probably really understanding, okay, this is what it takes, man. We're in all these games that we dropped. If we just do things a little bit different, we could come out the other end. And so I wouldn't write them off, but they've got it. This is the gauntlet you were talking about. They're in the midst of it.
Yeah. Isn't most of what we're talking about then a Mike issue? Who wants it more? Discipline, being in your gaps. The players got to play, but to me, that's a coaching issue. No, we're at the point now where the things we need to see are a coaching, you know what I mean?
Go ahead.
I have to ask this. What's going on with Jackson Smith-Jigba? You tell me, because you told me, I'm getting back on the you told me. Yeah. I was going to see this guy downfield, and we get an old coordinator who knows how to use him, and this guy's going for 50 and 30 and a few catches, and I was supposed to find myself going, this guy could be a one. Arguing that I could get rid of DK. My argument to everyone is, you think I want to look up and Jackson's my number one?
Yeah.
No, as
Yeah.
of now. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. Now I believe it. I believe it. But what's going on? Because now we're on our second O coordinator. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear this is Shane's fault.
Yeah.
Shane's in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he just had a guy throw for 4 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No question.
This is Grubbs. I was told he could scheme him up and all of the things. And Pete was screwing Jackson. I disagreed.
Yeah.
Completely disagreed. What's going on with Jackson?
I'm actually happy you asked me this.
Yeah.
And you're probably not gonna like my answer, but I believe it wholeheartedly. So obviously we all know Kev, a fan of the show, watch the show. What's up, Kev? I talk with him as much as I talk with you. And throughout the summer, he was really emphasizing how the team really wanted to be built around DK. DK's the emphasis over everybody, including the running back and everybody else is being ran through him. And I was like, okay, that's fair. DK is a phenomenal player. When we've watched this season, I've had issue with the amount of opportunity Geno has given to DK, right? I feel a lot of his interceptions come when he's forcing the ball to DK. And so what I feel the issue has been is Geno is locked on DK. He has to be a point guard and spread the ball around more. That's been the issue.
So now it's Geno's fault.
I think Geno has been forcing targets to DK far too often. I brought this up to you. There's no reason why Tyler and JSN are only getting 2-3 targets. If you watch the Jet, Alan Lazard tonight is getting 7, 8, 9. He's not the talent that JSN is, right? I would feel differently if there were targets being thrown and JSN is not coming down with them. What am I supposed to? I don't believe that JSN is not getting open. When I see Geno tapping the ball, looking at Geno, throwing the ball. I mean, not looking at Geno, but looking at DK, throwing the ball in the double, triple coverage, and it's getting intercepted. That's a Geno decision, right? And so he has to spread the ball around to give these guys other opportunities. DK is going to get his, right? But I don't think the discrepancy in the targets should be as big as it's been. I think that's been a lot of the issue. And I think Geno will do. He has to do better. He needs to do better. And I also think it's interesting to see when DK gets the mic and he's talking to Grubbs and he's really barking on Grubbs to do this, that, and the third. I think DK has way too much influence on what's going on offensively, right? And it's attributed, whether it's through his fumbles, picks thrown by Geno trying to get him the ball. If we go in other directions, maybe we don't turn the ball over as much and we win some of these one-possession games. That's my thought.
I just, some of this, I don't get. Like, first off this, like, I don't think Geno doesn't have an interception problem. So
he's leading the league. He's leading the league.
Is he?
Yeah.
No way.
I promise.
I believe you. I don't think you're lying. Is he?
Well, there's like 5 or 6. We've played 6 games.
Okay, well then we got an interception problem. I digress.
Okay.
Then we have an interception problem. I did not know that. I thought he must have just thrown a lot in the last couple of weeks, right? So it was the first couple of weeks there were none, right?
Remember his first pass of the season was a pick. He threw 2 did he throw 2 on Thursday?
I think so, yeah, this past week, yeah.
Yeah, and he threw 2. He has 5. Maybe he doesn't have 6. He has at least 5.
Okay. I'll tell you this. I don't think there's a force the ball to DK issue. Okay. I think DK gets what DK should get. DK's open on a lot of what Geno throws to him, most of it.
True.
He's earning what he's getting. He's balling. He's dropped a lot. But that means you were open. So he made the correct play. I threw it to you. This past week, there was one play where there was an interception. Leave it to Geno, and from the way it's written, DK ran the route wrong. So to the naked eye,
what player you're talking about?
yeah, to the naked eye, it's like Geno threw an interception, but he was supposed to cut it tight, apparently. I don't know what's real, who's right or who's wrong, but apparently it's like if DK runs that right, we're having a completely different story. Yeah. I don't think there's an issue there. I don't want to find myself making excuses for JSN. Well, I don't think he's not open. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Like, I assume DK's getting the ball to who's open. He's trying to move the ball around. He's trying to spread it around. JSN had 10 receptions one game, right? Like, it is what it is. If a guy, I think Geno would love to keep feeding him. Then another game comes and we just don't throw it a lot the next game. You know what I'm saying? Because of not enough possessions, right? So if we don't get if we're three and out, then that ends up screwing the game. So I think every game has its ebbs and flows. I just look and I go, it's on JSN to earn those targets. On every team, there's a 1 and there's a 2, and you got to go out there and you got to earn it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for JSN to be better. I haven't seen it. And he has blown some big opportunities, right? There's been 2 big games where on third downs, one of them cost us and may have cost the game. The other one cost us an opportunity to ice a game, right? And he dropped both of them. So those are on him as well. I'm watching him, and I'm rooting for him. I'm just waiting on the thing I've been told was coming. So I was told it's coming, and here I am six games in, and I'm like, this looks like it looks very similar to last year in the regards of it just looks like a guy who's in his second year. So does he look better? Yeah, he looks better, and he should. He was a rookie. He's in his second year. I'm not seeing the exponential thing. I'm looking for something that makes me go, whoo, okay. You know what I'm saying? They misused him last year. This year, they're using him right. I'm not seeing that thing, right? Yeah. Does he look better? Yeah, he looks better. I mean, he didn't have a 100-yard game last year. He has one this year, right? So I expect him to look better. But let me ask you one last question before we go. Yeah. Seahawks are playing the Atlanta Falcons this week.
Yeah.
What happens? Who wins the game? Last week, we both had the 49ers. What say you? This is a very intriguing matchup to me, too. Let me say this, why. The Atlanta and Seattle, to me, are like mirroring images of each other in a way. Except Atlanta's doing this. Seattle seems like they're doing this. And they're like, the question is, are they on the same trajectory? Meaning Atlanta started the year, I think, 0-2. You know what I mean? Seattle starts it 3-0. And now Atlanta's stringing wins together. Seattle looks like they're taking a step back. Neither of these teams, I think, either of us would say are elite, but they both have a lot of talent in different ways, right? And they failed to like show up. Who do you got? I'm intrigued by this matchup.
It's very interesting for me because I don't know what to believe as far as Atlanta. I will say this. If they figured out a way to run the football, I have Atlanta going away. They have phenomenal running backs with Algier and the great kid Bijan. They have a big-time receiver, a big-time tight end, and a quarterback who's savvy. And it's not a prime-time game, so he's probably going to play well. The Seahawks, I would lean the Falcons just because, you know me, I'm big on the trenches, man. And the Seahawks have not shored up the trenches on either side of the football. And this isn't the type of team you want to play if your trenches aren't right. They're going to run the football often, and they're going to play solid defense. They don't have great defenders over there, but they had 2 big acquisitions at the end of training camp that has played and played well for them. They're playing with confidence, while I fear that the Seahawks might be doubting themselves a bit. And so if the Seahawks can implement this new addition that they just got today and shore up that run defense, I think it will bode well from them. Because if it comes down to Kirk beating you, I feel much better about the Hawks' chances. But I think they want to get Bijan going. He's a special player. And both of those guys had 100 yards rushing last week, and I think they're going to try to keep it going. So I would lean the Falcons, unfortunately.
Man, I loved your take. I don't believe in. What do you mean by if the? Because I've heard you say it 1,000 times. The Seahawks have been short up the trenches, and I'm like, well, I've heard you say the Seahawks are focused on the trenches and shoring them up. To me, we short up the trenches on defense.
Yeah.
To me, we have. I'm going. When you trade for a second round pick for a Leonard Williams, when you draft a Byron Murphy, when you draft in the second round Derek Hall, when you draft Boye Mafe, like when you go in free agency and you get Draymond Jones, like we have put a ton of resources. We brought Jaron Reed back via free agency. Like we are, and we just traded a 6th round pick. We are defensively, there is resource into the trenches. The focus is the trenches. Now, to me, is it working? Is not are we shoring them up? It's are you coaching it up? Are you playing hard? Or I don't know what, right? Are you getting it to manifest on the field? But what do you mean by shore up the trenches? Because I look and go, we've shored up the trenches on defense. Offensively, to me, you can't shore up offense and defense all in 1 year. It takes some time to do. We started the offense, right?
Yeah.
Christian Haynes with our guard. We already have Cross, and we had Abe Lucas. So we started the process, but next year is the offensive line year. I assume you're going to see a guard drafted in the first or second round. But you don't think we've shored up the trenches on defense?
No, I'll say this. I think that Byron. So they have invested capital into the trenches, but a lot of those guys aren't impact players, in my opinion. I love Murphy. I think Williams is really good as well, right? But I don't think there's a lot of impact players there, and it's showing week in and week out. They're not making an impact on the
Okay,
running
hold
game.
on. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause. I'm not talking about how a player. So let me say it like this: is Mafe an impact player?
Yes.
Is Hall an impact player?
Yes.
Is Murphy an impact player?
Yes.
Okay. Is Leonard Williams an impact player?
Yes.
So first off, right there, those are 4 investments of impact players.
Yes.
When you go get Leonard Williams, you're getting an impact player and bringing him into your system and hoping it translates.
Yeah.
Draymond Jones was an impact player. We're just judging the investment.
I didn't say he was an impact player.
Oh, he was balling for the Denver Broncos. He like trash for us, but he was balling for the Broncos. The Broncos offered him they asked him a little less money than us, but they were trying to keep him.
Yeah.
Right? So he was balling. There's a reason we went and got him in free agency. He was one of the top D tackles the year we went and got him and brought him over.
Yeah.
In free agency.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Nwosu an impact player?
Yeah.
I'm going, we got a lot of impact players.
But also, in fairness, these guys haven't all been playing.
No, I know. So I'm just saying, when you say shore up the trenches, I'm going, we put all the resources into this.
No, I literally mean during the game. Like, if I could get people to be productive on Sunday.
Okay.
Right?
You mean fix it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also mean bodies available. Like, if you're naming people who aren't playing, that's not going.
No, I'm with you. When you typically say shore up the trenches, right?
Yeah.
What I'm looking at is at a team, when I say shore up the trenches, you need to shore up the trenches. It means you need to get the right players on your team, right? In your trenches. Yeah. After that, it's the coach's job. But shoring up the trenches, like, yo, go get the offensive tackle, go get the this, go get the that, go get it. And I just want to establish we have done all of the getting that. The investment is there. Now, the little things like, and honestly, when we say players not playing, the only guy, Nwosu is the only guy that hasn't played significantly this year, right? Mafe's played significantly. Hall's played significantly. Byron Murphy played significantly, right? He's been out the last 2 games, but
Yeah,
but I'm saying, and we'll give you that slight pass. I'm just looking and going, it's coaching at this point. I'm like, enough of them are playing. Leonard Williams sat out 1 game, or was it 2? He's there.
but
He's there.
okay,
He,
you're
he's
not
on
wrong.
the field. He's on the field on first down at the end of the game when they run for 80 yards.
No, I got you. I'm not arguing that. My only point is, if all playing together at the same time, it doesn't mean much to me that, oh well, he only missed some time. He only, like, they're good when they're together. When they're not together, playing together, that call, like, offensive line, defensive line both work the same. You need reps together, learn to play together, all that, etc. You could have all this investment you want. If I don't have you guys out there taking reps together, gaining cohesion together, that's not going to shore up the trenches.
So my question to you is, well, my statement to you, my slight response, you said a second ago, they're good when they're together. My thing to you is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen them be good together. I have a real question at this point, because I agree with you. You want all your guys. I've been the big one saying I want all my horses out there. Mm-hmm. So I'm really frustrated that we're not going to get Nwosu for some weeks. He's gone. He's back on IR. So at this point, if my vision is just get me Mafe and Hall, because they've played really good, get me those guys with Leonard Williams and all these other guys in the middle, and that's as good, as close to full strength as I'm going to get this year. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I don't know how good it is. I hope it's good. Well, I don't know.
That's fair, but at the same time, like, you've talked to me about the offensive line and being encouraged that when guys get back, you're going to piece this together and you'll see improvement, right? And as far as the defense goes, I feel that there will be improvement on that side of the ball, because I felt individually when these guys played, they've played well, right? Now, granted, it hasn't been together, but I've seen the impact that Murphy can make when he's out there. And so if I put him next to Williams and then Mafe with Hall and all 4 of these guys together, obviously we don't know, but I have reason to believe that they will only play better when there's more talent next to them.
I think so. Let me be clear. We did get all of them at the beginning of the year, the 4 of them. So we got all of them, I think, 2 games, and then it started breaking up. So it was hard to call because we were playing. That was the Patriots game, week 2. So they were all out there when the Patriots were running against us. Everyone except Nwosu. Mm-hmm. So they were all out there. And that's why I say I've had enough. You are correct. If I have them all, I like my chances better. But I've seen enough of, like, this is the NFL. So let's say you have 4 impact guys on your defensive line, which is a lot. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. A lot of teams have 4.
I completely agree.
So let's say you have 4 impact guys on your D line and one of them's out. We shouldn't be looking this bad because one's out. Mm-hmm. The way we look is, okay, Byron Murphy was out last game. Everyone else, no, Hall didn't play, I think. Hall didn't play, so that's 2. So, yeah, but I'm saying prior to that, we had a game where 3 of them were out there, not 4, right? And it looked bad. It looked the kind of bad where I'm like, why do you guys look this bad when 3 of the 4 are out there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm with you that, like, the more of you guys, you like, do we have to have all 4 to look good?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't think it's as laughable because the linebackers aren't as good. So you need to have your dominance be up in the trenches when your linebackers are lacking in the manner that they're lacking. I think that's how they tried to build this team, is that we'll be so strong up front that it will allow our linebackers to scrape and float and penetrate. And when you're missing that, it makes your linebackers susceptible to what has been happening to them.
Okay.
But my question to you is, why are you so much more optimistic of the offense getting it together, the offensive line versus the defensive line? Because it's like they're both kind of battling with injury.
Yeah, I'm not. It's first off, it's not that I'm not optimistic of the defense, right? I am. I've been an advocate for when they all get together. I can't wait. What I really can't wait to see is Nwosu, Hall, and like Nwosu, Hall, and Mafe together so that we get that rotation that we used to have back when we had the Legion of Boom and we were running defenders on. There was Bruce Irving, and then it was Michael Bennett, and there's Cliff Averill, and you're running guys off and on, and it was Clemens. And so when you have that wave, guys can be fresh and come on. Some guys are just coming on third down, right? Pin your ears back. Let's get to the quarterback. So I'd love to see that. We haven't gotten to. I am optimistic. I don't want you to think that I'm not. I'm more optimistic because of what I just said. On offense, I've gotten a chance to see all four and then three of the four. And just kind of, I've seen things and I'm just like, and it's been problematic with all four, with three of the four, with, you know what I'm saying? So it's just been problematic. So it doesn't offer as much hope because it's like, well, I've kind of seen what it's kind of going to look like.
Yeah.
I've seen it in some. Whereas with the offense, where my hope comes from is I've seen the offensive line look bad and then have a good game where I'm like, and the O-line looks solid this week. And then bad. And oh, they look solid this week. And then what I do know is I know what it was like when we had Cross and Abe Lucas out there together. I just remember that. I'm banking if Abe Lucas, that's all I'm saying. If Abe Lucas comes back, now you're giving me an elite right tackle with a left tackle. And I already know our center is solid. So all I need is my guards with all these linemen we got. I need one of them to just I just look at that and I go, if we already have played decent, it's just going to get better. It can do nothing but get better. So my hope there is because I'm getting back something I've never seen on this team. I'm getting back something that I know the level of it, and it's elite level play, and I'm getting it back, and I know that. Whereas if you just heard like Nwosu, the problem is he went back on IR. We may not see him to the end. So I know I just got to wash that. All I can think about is the four I've already seen. Nwosu's out. Week 16, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get that out of our brains. We're probably not going to get that this year. As good as it gets on the defensive line is what I've already seen. That's what I'm saying. Now you just added a new D tackle in, but he's a 6th-round guy. I think he'll be a body. I'm hopeful, though, for him. We made the trade, so I'd love for him to come in here and essentially help us shore up the run. I know that's what he's got to be there for, right? And another D tackle is another body, right? So I'm hopeful and I like it, but I hope that answers your question why I'm a little more excited for why I view the O-line as like, okay, they have the ability to get a little better in a way because I'm adding a elite level, if you will, a really high level, because I don't want to say elite, a high-level offensive tackle on my right side. I mean, yeah, and I've seen that before years ago, and it looked really good, right? So I'm going, well, it looks solid, right? We've always guard, but that's it.
Okay.
And I'm judging it based on what I saw. I saw us play solid, and then I'm like, so if you add something to this level of solid, it's good. I'm excited this week also to see our O-line because we've had it rough the last couple of weeks. It's not rough as in we've played the most. The Giants are a really strong defensive line that come at you in waves. But our problem has been we played Aiden Hutchinson and we played Bosa. And it's like we finally get a week where we're not playing one of those guys. Like we're playing, they got Matthew Judon. Yeah, that ain't Bosa. That ain't Aiden Hutchinson. I'd like to see if the line can go back to what I said a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, oh man, they had a good game. Like it wasn't great. We're not a great offensive line, right? Our right side is trash right now. It's just the whole right side is a problem, right? But I think if we can get, I don't know, I'm hopeful that if we can get to a game where we're not, these next few weeks, we're just not going to be playing elite pass rushers. And I want to see, like, how do we look when we're not playing one of them? Like, I get it. I know how we look when we play against Bosa. I know how we look when we play Aiden Hutchinson. One of them Aiden Hutchinson had 14 pressures. Bosa had 16 pressures. That's a lot of pressures. Right? Yeah. So I want to see what do we look like when there's not that guy who's just like a top 10 pass rusher in the league. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we're playing a team that just, okay, now we go against Atlanta. I'm sure they will beat us their fair share of times. Our O-line's not great, but Geno's not going to be pressured the way he was. So to me, Geno plays really well when he doesn't have to face that. Like, Geno's one of the best quarterbacks I've seen at knowing I'm going to be pressured and I got to get the ball out. And that's just not a lot of quarterbacks have to live with that. He's had to live with that, you know, and he's adjusted to being like, no excuse, man. This is the lot I'm dealt. So I just got to play around it. So,
okay.
All that being said, I got the Seahawks this week, man.
Okay.
We battled back. Mike gets us right. I am worried about the run game, though. I am. Algier, Algier, man, he looks good, man. He looks really good, man. Bijan, it's weird. He doesn't. Something's not right, man. Something's not clicking down there, and I don't know if it's coaching and but him and Pitts, I don't know why they can't quite get the talent to manifest. But
yeah,
I got the Seahawks to pull this one out, but it should be close and should be a good game. If they run the ball on us, though, yeah, we could be cooked. Unless this dude we're bringing in is somebody or like. And I mean, like, maybe he really is like, when you hear Mike talk about it, it sounds like the problems are so minute. He talks about them like it is just a few small tweaks that we're telling them and they're not listening. I'm telling you, get in this gap. Do this like this. And they're not. And he's like, we know where they're going. We know what they're going to do. We're telling you exactly what to do. And the players are not. And he can only say so much of that, right? You can't blame the players. All he says is, I just got to coach it harder. He's basically saying, I'm not going to change what I'm telling you because what I'm telling you is right. You know what I mean? I heard Hugh Millen break down the first down play that the San Francisco 49ers did to ice the game. It was a stretch run play. And he said it was the most simple San Francisco 49ers play. And he told you whose fault it was. And it was awesome. And I heard Mike McDonald talk about it. And it's eye-opening. You get a chance, go find that and listen to it. But it sounded like it was our linebacker and our safety. And they said that play, at worst, if the safety makes the right move, safety made the exact wrong call, at worst is a 7-yard game. And that's worse. That's not, they're like, it should have been a 2-3 yard game. You know what I'm saying? But if the players choose the wrong gap or, you know what I mean, don't do what they're supposed to, a play that's supposed to be 3 to 7 yards ends up being 80, and the coach is on the sideline pissed. So,
lights out.
That's it. All right, man. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Draze Green, 2 fans with a mic, man. It's been lovely. We will be back next week after the Seahawks beat the Atlanta Falcons. We'll be right here to talk, and come back next week as we will be talking about NBA basketball. It's our NBA preview. It's the day before the NBA season starts. I can't wait to get some NBA stuff off my chest, man. I got a lot I want to say, man. So that's it.
Let's do it.
Peace and love.
See y'all next week.
All right, y'all. Peace.